Well, I think it might be going just to YouTube.
That's perfectly fine.
I don't remember how it worked. And I don't know if we're live right now or not.
It says in the corner, it says meeting is now streaming live on a custom service.
It says we're live.
Yeah, I got the same warning. Asked me if I wanted to leave the meeting or continue on.
Oh, I can see us out in the world somewhere.
Ah, very good.
I went against my better judgment and said I'll stay.
Okay, Diane.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, Diane.
Host with the emost.
Oh, fuck.
All right. If someone out there watching our thing, can you tell me if you can hear us? I'm assuming they can.
Hi, outside world.
Actually, let me type that. Can you hear us? Yes. Yeet, drip, water, slap, slap, water, drip. Oh, all I'm seeing is West Ham, West Ham, West Ham, Spurs being Spursy. That doesn't tell me anything.
Other than it's definitely Scott.
Yeah, Scotty's definitely watching. I don't think I have to look and see who it is.
Watching.
John S gave us a thumbs. Thumbs
Love it. Oh, Otis Anderson on the feed tonight. Love it.
Which is good because I had a West Ham promo because West Ham, they're my friends now.
Mm-hmm.
All because of Scotty up in Baltimore.
Yeah.
So I was actually gonna, when you gave me permission to go in with the West Ham, that's what I was going with because that's a good win over Spurs.
That's a good win over Spurs. I mean, it's no 3-0 over Newcastle, but it's a good win.
Hey, Graham, have you seen the leaderboard?
The table?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, he's at the top of it.
Where's Villa?
Yeah, I can see everybody down below me. Yeah, it's great.
No. For like Premier League.
Yeah, up to third.
We're in third. Oh, that's right. Remember you said Villa wasn't going to make top four?
To finish, yes, I do remember saying that, and I still stick by it.
That one. To finish.
That's not like the big coat, Mel. This I do remember.
Yeah, right. Do a show,
my
kids.
Hood over my. Oh, wait, there we go.
There we go.
Oh, it's Ninja Mel.
Darth Mel.
I was gonna, if I didn't have the COVID, I was gonna bring out the war paint for tonight's show.
Oh, nice. The paint on. Yeah, that would have been awesome.
It's not gonna make the same. I can make a little like smiley face right there, so it's not gonna have the same. So I figured I'd go. I don't know, Villa Thug Life.
Heard.
Okay, this is weird. I don't remember which one is Zoom and which one is. I'm really sick, y'all.
I know.
All right. You ready to start a show?
Yeah, I'm done been ready. Let's start a show.
This is Chris from Houston, and you're listening to Drunkards United. Come on, you Iron.
They didn't do half bad today.
They did not do half bad. That was a pretty decent result for them.
You know who also didn't do half bad today? The team that is no longer in the fucking relegation zone.
Oh, really? Look at you eat points up all the way.
No, hey, look at it this way, Mr. Graham. This is 2 whole weeks in a row in 1 week with no Malort. Let's start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Look you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston. Sam Houston? Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. The snow of the Lord. With straight and shorts. Sam Graham. Sam Graham.
Hello and welcome to the DU Football Show, a completely biased recap of the midweek's action in the Premier League is told by two common American schmucks. I'm your host, Sam Houston, and across the internet's from me, Mr. Samuel Graham. Sammy, how you doing over there, buddy?
Doing very well. Thank you very much. I am vid-free. Thank goodness.
Well, that would make two of the three of us, because on the ones and twos, all masked up tonight because somebody got coronavirus. Shit's real.
We got COVID Carl on the ones and twos.
Yeah. Producer Mel feeling the vid.
Who knew you could get COVID from watching Villa fuck Man City?
Very good answer. We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out wherever you get your podcast. And of course, streaming live actually on a Thursday night, not just on a Monday night, as it is
That's
December. Right. And the Prem is prone to do and have a lot of fucking games. Should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Mr. Graham, tell the good people how they can get in touch.
Absolutely. We are at DU Football Show on all the social medias and dufootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch by email.
All right. So she's already giggling at something. So because her mute button's not on.
Kate, there's a lot of people checking in. I don't know why on a Thursday. Apparently, the whole world's watching, not just our regulars.
The world's popping on a Thursday night.
And our friend Kate Kane used to be a tour guide, friend of Graham's.
Awesome!
Out in
Very
Virginia
cool.
Beach area.
Yeah.
She was commenting, not COVID, Carl. Just made me laugh.
Love it. Very good. Very, very good. Sam and myself both work in the wine and spirit industry and both have a deep, passionate love for all things distilled spirits. So is the red-blooded Americans we are. We've had to have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. Mr. Graham, since we're in separate rooms, why don't you go ahead and talk about what you're drinking, and then I'll talk about what I'm drinking.
Absolutely. I pulled out an oldie but a goodie, single barrel from Allview back in the day, called the Presidential Dram. It's a straight bourbon, 4-year-old, barrel proof at 112.72. That's 56.36% by volume if you're counting. And actually, it is a syndicate. It's not just Allview. And they called it Presidential Ride, which is pretty funny. And they got the Dumb and Dumber old truck on their sticker, which is pretty hysterical. Barreled in 2015. I'm sorry. Yeah, barreled in 2015, bottled in 2021. We did it on the show before. It's a phenomenal little pour. I said high octane, but very balanced. Doesn't drink like 112. Drinks more like 95. Nice. Very smooth, easy going. A lot of honey and vanilla up front. It's delightful.
Excellent. I went back to the well to an old school one that we've done on the show before as well, and was also on, I believe, 2017's top 20 whiskeys of 2022. And this is just a fucking dandy. This is the Glendalough 13-year-old Mizanora Oak finish.
One of my favorite Irish whiskeys that exists.
This was during a time where very few people were working with Mizanora Oak because that's a Japanese oak that the trees look like bonsai trees. So cutting barrel staves is very hard to do.
Very difficult. Yep.
And it's also very porous. So normally whenever they do a Mizanora oak aged whiskey in general in Japan, they tend to lose about 50% of it because it leaks that much. They have to put like moss in it and shit like that to try to keep it all in case. Whiskey doesn't exist anymore. It would cost you about $90 if you found it on the shelf. It's a dusty. I found some in this past calendar year, and I bought both bottles because I know it just doesn't exist anymore. The reality for Irish single malts is that there's a lot of distilleries who are just now finally making whiskey, and that's why you're seeing so many pot stills normally make the top 20 list every year for Whiskey Advocate, because the single malts were coming out of Bushmills, which they pretty much keep for themselves, the Middleton Distillery, which is Jameson, which they pretty much keep for themselves, and then the Cooley Distillery. And the Cooley Distillery now has its own damn products with Teeling. So they've stopped selling. So there's only so many single malt whiskeys to go around in Ireland for people to have. So I know, I think they now have like a 7-year-old Mizanora is what it is. But if you find the 13, it's worth getting. It's like most Irish whiskeys, it's a little bit softer, a little bit mellower, but you get this really lovely sandalwood caramel creme brulee thing going on in this whiskey. And it is for a 13-year-old whiskey that's a single malt under $100. That is a fucking steal. That's an absolute steal. And then it's in a super expensive, super hard to come by wood in Mizunora.
I mean, my 14 and 18-year-old Irish single malts that I sell in Tullamore do both wholesale for around $90 or more. Yeah, so to find a 13-year-old on the shelf at that price, especially with that rarer wood, is tremendous.
And also this kind of accolades too and scores. I mean, it's a delightful fucking whiskey. And Mr. Brown, what else do we always need to do?
Got to remind people to drink responsibly.
Very good. Cheers across the internet to you, good sir. Cheers, clink.
Cheers, my friend.
There you go, COVID Carl. We opened the top of the table with one match that was flat out insane, and another was a absolute masterclass, but not by the team you would expect. Aston Villa 1, Manchester City 0, Arsenal 4, Luton Town 3. What a fucking performance from Villa. And you might want to Mel. She's back there going, yeah. Well, here's the thing, and it's good that you bring up Emmy. Emmy makes two fantastic saves, right? Those two saves.
Mm-hmm.
The double save on Holland, you mean?
Oh yeah.
Manchester City did not record another shot, not shot on target, not another fucking shot the rest of the match. Who has ever done that to City since Pep's got
Paul Tao? Paul Tao was shutting shit down every which way on defense.
He had a couple of shots himself that were decent.
Or Pau Torres, sorry.
Yeah. No, all good. It was absolute masterclass. Like, I mean,
it was fantastic.
I don't know how many of you saw Pep in the post. He was just like, "Hey, we're better than us." Like he had no answer. It was just like, they were like, "Well, what do you think of this?" He was like, "They were better than us." It's what he just kept saying. It's like they walked into that building and Villa fucked. Villa flat out fucked, man.
Now, what I am going to say here, and this is going to be kind of a theme throughout the show, is you can only play what's in front of you, right? City are a very different side without Rodri. So Villa definitely did catch them at a good time with him having gotten his 5th yellow card last outing and was suspended for this game. But that allowed McGinn and Douglas Luiz to really flourish and control the game for Villa. I mean, really, Villa were well and truly on top for a majority of the game. I mean, City had some good possession here and there, but they weren't threatening with it. And that linchpin that we talk about, like how goofy Arsenal looked and out of ideas without Odegaard or how, whatever, that linchpin that allows Bernardo Silva to do what he does and create the magic, or De Bruyne when he's fit, is Rodri. Without that security blanket, those guys don't have the freedom that they normally have.
Nope.
You know what I mean? And that definitely played into Villa's hands. And they saw that opportunity and pounced on it. And it was absolutely fantastic. And what a performance. What a performance.
I mean, Mel, you were watching it live. I mean, you all could have scored more. You should have scored more.
Should have scored more.
We had
beat them honestly 3 or 4-0.
Douglas is still checking the math on his last shot because it should have gone in, but the post moved.
It sure did look like it did. That's for damn sure.
I called it. I said Leon Bailey is scoring. I thought it would happen before the end of the first half, but Bailey was getting in all the right spots. That man was finding himself in the center of every attack, and he was fast and he was tenacious. And he had a certain spark under him. So when he did get the score, oh, God, I love seeing it.
You saw what it meant to him, too. His emotion and the reaction. It was absolutely brilliant. The whole stadium goes nuts. It was awesome.
It was
awesome.
Incredible.
It really was.
It was incredible.
Bailey
That's
has
why we love this game.
Job. This is when we talk about, competing for spots, working hard and he's been a sub almost the entire year. And he's just kept working and he keeps having good outings. And it's just like little by little by little. And then you're just like, you have to play him. You have to play him, and he's been starting the last couple of matches.
Because he's been awesome.
Yeah, he's been absolutely
fantastic. He was excellent towards the tail end of last season as well. He was very good.
Yeah.
And then with Diaby coming through, who's been excellent to start this season, Leon Bailey got kind of dumped to the bench because when he was fit last season, he would start. But he reminds me actually, Sam. He reminds me a lot of Archie.
Yeah,
old crazy legs. Yeah, old crazy legs. And it's lovely to see that he's now regained his spot and he's really taken his chance. He looks a lot more mature, a lot more composed, and not so scatterbrained. I mean, his chaos last season really, kind of put teams under the cosh, really, and didn't really know how to react to him. This season, he's been much more composed, much more mature, and it's been
yeah, absolutely. Good point, Mel. Good point. Plays with purpose.
Plays with purpose. This was the first time I had seen another team play us versus us playing another team. And I am real excited. I'm not overly confident because we're not consistent, but I'm very eager to see how we perform against you guys next weekend. Or this weekend.
Hey, Sammy, you know what? You had said this a few weeks ago, and I think it applies even more now. You were saying you're not excited about having to go to their building.
No, not at all.
And right now, I should be feeling okay about walking into
12 in a row?
13 in a row.
In a row in our building.
Yeah. It's just fuck. Like they are just a different. Because remember,
that's just amazing.
Just 5 weeks ago, you lost 2-0 to Forest on the road, and you drew Bournemouth 2-2. So it's like, but in your building, you're world beaters. Other than the League Cup where you lost to Everton, but that's just a thing.
You mean where we just decided we didn't want to focus on it anymore and bowed out gracefully?
Yeah, no, that's perfectly fine. I don't mind.
What I am excited about for us, if we're gonna tie in a little bit of preview to this, is that Arsenal do have their full complement of players.
And
that
is have any excuses.
Right. And you'll have every excuse in the book when we beat you 3-0. But with
Graham,
Leon
you
Bailey
need to
and
stop
Ollie
holding on to that thought that there's going to be a fucking shutout again in Arsenal history, okay?
With their work rate, but it exactly leads me on to my next point. With Villa's work rate, especially in the forward positions and the way that they press, David Ryan needs to get rid of the fucking ball, mate.
Yes.
He needs to get rid of the fucking ball because if he's shipping 2 goals, which we're going to come on to in just a moment, to Luton Town, then what do you think he's going to do against Ollie Watkins and Leon Bailey and John McGinn and Yuri Tillemans and actual international caliber players? I wouldn't necessarily say world class just yet, but because they are, most of them still young. I feel like John McGinn's probably about 600 years old though, since he looks like a White Walker. You know what I mean? But
who got a great ass,
dude. John McGinn. At one point. It's a corner kick or a free kick, and McGinn is over offsides, like with his butt up against the goalie. And one commentator goes, "What is John doing? He knows he's offsides." And the guy's, "Oh, he's just being a pest. That's what he does."
Yeah, pretty much.
The same answer as we do with McBurney. He's Scottish. Just don't ask questions. He's fucking Scottish.
He's doing his Scottish business. Don't worry about it. What you worried about? But yeah, no, it's definitely going to be an interesting weekend. But I thought Villa were fantastic in this game, and even Rob said it to you online, Mel, on your post in the closed room.
There was a yawn emoji when I was.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
That's what Tim Howard said. Tim Howard said that was the best match of the season. I wasn't arguing with Tim Howard.
Don't disagree.
It's probably the best performance of the season. Yeah. By any team, really.
That wasn't words he used. Best match.
I understand
of
that.
the season.
I understand that. I think he was a bit overzealous because I've seen more entertaining games.
This is how the pro Arsenal agenda starts.
Yeah, it is how it works.
No, I've seen more entertaining games. Our 4-3 against Luton was more entertaining. Your game was the best performance by far.
I would say to you can kind of go here a little bit with what Graham's saying, and also to kind of counteract what Tim said, is you need a performance from both sides in order for it to be a great match. I would tend to agree. It was the best performance of the season. Like,
by Villa, absolutely.
Undoubtable. Villa was incredible. And you think about it again. Holland had 2 shots that Emi Martinez
and
saved.
That was it. Yeah.
They didn't. Their team, the team that won the fucking treble last year, could not manage even a shot. Not even a shot. They couldn't put one in row Z. That's how bad it was for them. Like, that is, for Villa, it's a fucking masterclass. It's an absolutely.
I mean, if you take it the other time that City lost to Wolves and then the time that City lost to us this season are there 3 losses, right? And us and Wolves kind of rode our luck for stretches.
Right.
Our respective games with them. Villa dominated this game.
Yeah, it was all Villa.
Besides the only 2 times now, and they were both world-class saves. They were saves worthy of a World Cup winner. Those 2 saves that he did have, especially the second save from that header. But
quickly get across the face of the goal.
Holland thought for sure he had it too.
Big time.
Love,
but it hands down was the most comprehensive performance by any team this season, 100%. And it also plays into the opposition when you think of it that way also, where they are that fucking good, right? You don't win a treble by being phenomenal or by being shit and being lucky. They are a good team despite not having Rodri. So this was by far the most comprehensive performance. Like, say, again, Burnley goes to beat Sheffield United 5-0. Was it a comprehensive performance? No, because it's basically a JB high school team that they're playing in Sheffield United, right? You're playing the fucking treble winners. You're playing the champions, and you do this to them. It's by far the most comprehensive performance of the season by any team, especially against City.
Can we keep it up? That's the question. Yep. Can we keep it up?
It's a hell of a
Hopefully not. You're going to stumble at the first asking because everybody went and had loads of beers on Wednesday night.
So we go from this wonderful, just amazing performance from Villa to whatever the fuck that was at Kenilworth Road.
Hey, three points. What you worried about?
I do love when we were doing the preview show earlier this week for Arsenal and Luton. You were like, "Yeah, I think this is going to be Raya's first shutout of the season." Wrong, so very, very, very wrong. You know what? Luton did what they normally do. It's set piece goals, 2 fucking corner kicks. And honestly, it's like, it's not just Raya, but it's also, come on, defense, man. Like, that this is the type of team that's good. Like, this is the moments they look for. Don't give them the opportunities to have those type of set pieces and defend well when they do have them.
The second goal of theirs, especially the header that he came out kind of half-ass challenged the offensive player. I can't remember who it was that scored, to be honest with you, but it was absolutely pitiful. Do you remember there was a movie with Jason Alexander way back when, and he was running a hotel, and there was a family that lived in the hotel, and the mom of the family was like his assistant, right? And the son kind of knew everybody and ran around. He was like 8 years old and somehow got like an orangutan friend. Do you remember this? And they caused all sorts of havoc. Jason Alexander, somebody was trying to rob something, and Jason Alexander turns and he goes to hit them with a bag of rice, and the rice fell out of it. And so he ends up just hitting him with a limp piece of plastic.
That was David Raya.
Bag. Yeah, that was David Raya. How can if you have the use of your fucking hands, how can someone out jump you?
Yeah.
Above you. It is clean them out. Come out and clean them out.
Yeah, as a goaltender, it's just, if you're going to come off the line, you better fucking come away with it. Like, it's, we used to, in our indoor league, we would have some of the guys would give me shit for not coming off the line. I'm like, I've got a better line on making a save off the line than I do coming out and missing it. Because if I miss it, the goal's wide open. Like,
yeah, I mean, in indoor, absolutely. In indoor, also, the other thing too is you're, 3/4 of the goal wide when you do your wingspan. You don't have 14 feet either side of you or whatever. So coming out is definitely better in outdoor. But it's just absolutely pitiful, and it's very clear. I wish he would just come out and say it and put everybody's mind at ease. He's my guy. He's my number one. Just say it.
Yeah.
Just get it over with, because all of us are anxious and we want Ramsdale back in because Rye's being a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But and it looks like
him
him not saying that publicly is fucking with Raya also and making him not be super confident.
Yeah.
So it's like, just put it to bed. Just say that this is my number one. Aaron Ramsdale is now the backup. Just say it and put it to bed. Let the press stop talking about it. Let the fans stop talking about it. Just leave it. Just get it over with.
You got a fucking title to focus on trying to win. Like,
exactly.
We can't be bothered with this. Just fucking be done with it.
But Martinelli was excellent as usual. Saka was excellent as usual. And even Jesus. I mean, the little dink he had into Havertz for the third goal was fantastic. That, there was great strength, great balance, a good first touch, and then the wherewithal to just lift that ball over the defender, but not put too much on it, so it ran all the way to the goalkeeper. And Havertz with a brave finish. Honestly, if the goalkeeper was worth his salt, he'd have been off the line faster than he was and cleaned Havertz out. But just that deft little touch to get it past the goalkeeper is phenomenal. But I think Arsenal weren't ready for the work rate of Luton and how loud that very small building can be. They look like
it's getting better and better for them. I mean, now obviously you guys get it at the death. Which if you're going to be a title winning team, this is the kind of game. This is the kind of moments.
You got to figure out a way.
You got to figure out a way. Even when you're not at your best, you got to figure out a way to fucking get the W.
Well, what we say last year, was it the Bournemouth game or somebody, when Jorginho came in as a late sub and rifled that ball in from 30 yards, hit the post, and then off the back of the goalkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
That game. And that's when I finally came around and said, I believe we're title contenders now.
Yeah.
Because we found a fucking way. I think that was the game that we won 3-2, but we found ourselves down 2-2.
It was 3-2 Bournemouth that you
but they went up real early, real quick.
Yeah, Reece Nelson. They were up 2-0. You scored 3 unanswered to doing it. It was Reece Nelson at the death who got that goal.
So I mean, that is the stuff of title contenders. You're faced with adversity and you overcome that adversity. You figure that out and you get through it. And Arsenal did. I mean, what poise from Odegaard to put that sort of a delicate ball into the box for Rice to go and attack. And what a header. I mean, he put it the only place, because there wasn't a lot of pace on it. He put it the only place the goalkeeper couldn't get to it. And, our corner of the ground exploded with emotion. And you could see it on the players. Arteta got a yellow for his celebration, and he was like, listen, I don't care. It's emotion, man. That was a giant release of emotion in a very tense game. And at least he was honest about it. He didn't say something stupid like Jurgen Klopp would have.
Yeah.
But he was just honest. He was just like, yeah, man, it was just that, it was very tense. I was boiling over, and I'd let it all out. And, if that's a yellow card, then so be it.
Yeah, that's fine. Now, here's the question for you with Luton, because Luton, you do just about everything right except for get the W, right? And now this was yesterday, but now you're in this scenario where you see today, and all that effort and all that hard work and top of the table team, you play them to the death, you lose right at the end. And now today you find yourself in the drop. Like, how are those players handling that? Because
right,
did everything right, and now you're suddenly back in the relegation zone again.
Well, it's weird to use an Arteta kind of, expression, but you have to trust that process. If you're Luton Town, look at where you started the first 3 or 4 games of the season to look at the performances you're putting in now. You got to imagine that these points that you're getting, the couple of wins under your belt, a couple of draws, trust the process, trust that manager, keep doing what he's saying, and you will find yourself in a better position than when you started. And I think that's what they have to do. They can't get too up, they can't get too down. Because you also have to think, we talked about it on Monday, on appeal, Everton probably have a couple of points added, so they're probably a little further back than they are currently. So, but your performances are much better than they were in the first 3-4 games of the season. So I would just keep trusting that process and keep doing what you're doing. And hopefully you find yourself out of the relegation zone. And then if you can, go spike the lasagna of Bournemouth, because they just keep seeming to get wins.
So we're now going to direct our attention to 4 clubs that outperformed expectations last season. All seem to be going in very different directions this season. Fulham 5, Forest 0, Brighton 2, Brentford 1. Well, Graham, we're no longer allowed to talk shit about it. Fulham knows how to score goals, apparently.
Yeah, right. Apparently they do. Yeah. I don't know where this came from all of a sudden. Maybe they just found out I was talking too much shit.
You know, Raul Jimenez. I mean, the Iwobi brace, of course, it's good that you got another player getting goals, but Jimenez getting a brace now on 3 for the season. It's coming at the right time. He's starting to get his confidence back. And for Fulham, that is just fucking massive, man.
Oh, it's huge. The giant Mitrovic shaped hole up front was more and more evident every game that passed that Jimenez didn't score. So, you know, the specter of Mitrovic is now starting to fade away as Raul's getting these goals and Iwobi's chipping in. And so now, besides yourself, I will also be accepting a thank you from Fulham fans, since he learned how to do that at Arsenal. Okay. And I'll expect your thank you for being out of the relegation zone. You know, me and Declan Rice in equal measure getting, since it was definitely both of us that you know, deserve that thank you, by the way.
Your draw still would have gotten us out of the relegation zone. No, we would have been at 1 point down, right? Because we're level on points now with Luton.
Again, you're welcome.
Doesn't matter. When we beat Chelsea, it'll be fine.
But yeah, no, Fulham, it was excellent. It was absolutely excellent. They were all over Forest. Forest didn't really have an answer for them. Bert Leno was called into play 3 times, 4 times, maybe, was equal to the task each time. He's a good goalkeeper. I've never said anything otherwise. But Forest is without Awoniyi. They have nobody to really stretch the defense, it seems. I mean, Alanga still looks like he's not ready to lead the line. You know, they sold Brennan Johnson off, who would have been somebody that maybe could have stepped in case of emergency. Morgan Gibbs-White likes to be in the hole, so he's not stretching anybody.
Yeah.
You know, it just, without Awoniyi, and Chris Wood, you know, still looks dumber than a bag of nails.
And well,
so I don't know where they're going to.
Wood's job is going to be to just be a poacher. That's what he's going to do. We were talking about this on Monday's show. Like, what Awoniyi offered was he made movement, which then allowed space to open up for Gibbs-White and for Alanga.
Right.
And if you just have the big dopey guy running down the middle of the fucking pitch looking for the ball to come in, those 2 guys can't create as much because they have to come back to play.
Exactly. But and the other piece to that too is, to be a poacher, you have to have the ball.
Yep.
I've never seen a poacher in a counterattacking system.
Right. Precisely it.
And if you're not going to have possession the majority of the time, what are you poaching? You may as well sit up front with a pot and pan and poach some eggs, because you're not poaching goals. I'll tell you that.
So, first, I want to just mention a little something about Forest, and then I want to kind of talk about both of these teams, and we're going to talk about the next 2 teams in the same regard as well. For Forest, this is now 4 on the bump that they've lost. Is Steve Cooper in trouble?
Yeah, as the chairman already came out and said he demands improvement. I'm surprised they didn't fire him yet after losing these 2 in a row since he said something before last weekend.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he's still in the job so far.
Now, if you watched any of the press, the post pressers, the players were fully putting it on them, even though Cooper went to the away section, hit his chest and put up his hands as if to say, "I'm sorry, this is on me." But the players immediately afterwards were like, "We're all here because of him. Our success is because of him. We need to perform better for him." But it's you don't typically hear that. That's one thing. Normally, the minute somebody wants to put on a coach, a player will be like, "Ha ha, they're not looking at me." AKA Manchester United for the last 10 years.
Exactly right. But no, you're absolutely right. They, you know, and I think a lot of them did that because of the chairman's comments prior to last weekend. where it didn't necessarily give him the vote of confidence, which I think means he would have been absolutely canned by now. But he did say that we need to have better results. I demand better results, basically, and piled the pressure on Cooper. The problem is last year he said kind of the same thing. 10 days later, gave him a new contract. So I don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah,
but that's what 4 in a row now for Forrest that they've dropped.
Yep. Now here's the thing I wanted to kind of look at and why I did all these 4 teams in a segment, because also these guys have all been in OSO a lot, and I kind of wanted to give some time to talk about them. Is with Fulham, we started this season wondering where are the goals going to come? How are they going to survive? This team could be in a relegation battle. And now they're not going to be a top 10 team like they were last season, but you kind of feel like yeah, these guys are comfortably 12th.
Yeah,
you feel like they'll be all right. Like things are going to be okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we've said it how many times so far this season, and which is why we've had to end up saying the same thing over and over again, is because defensively, Fulham are fine.
Yeah, they're great. They're great
defensively. Fulham are going to be okay, which means I believe that they will stay in the league because you have kind of flash players like Pereira, Cordova-Reid that will nip in and get you some goals. You have, Raul Jimenez now scoring, obviously previously wasn't, but you were going to always get enough goals to stay in the league. I didn't have a worry about them going out. I worried about where they would finish. Kind of 12 to 14 seemed reasonable given that, 17 goal Mitrovic is now gone, right? You don't have that focal point. But Raul Jimenez doing this, I mean, 10th, 11th, that might be within reach now.
Yeah. If he gets you 7 goals on the season, you're definitely a 15th place team. He gets you 10, you're probably 11th or 10th.
Absolutely.
Especially with his
that's
open
looking
bottom part of the league is. Yeah.
Right. And looking at them defensively, I never thought they were going to go down regardless of what they did up front, honestly. I mean, look how long Burnley stayed in the league. They're, and something that we've not really talked about Marco Silva really ever of being defensively, kind of sound.
Always I just think back-minded coach. Yeah.
I just think the Fulham players are that good defensively. And when you have somebody like Paulinho, now had Bayern Munich gotten Paulinho at the beginning of the year, in the transfer window, I think Fulham be in a hell of a lot worse position than they are now. But as long as they can hold on to him through January, I think Fulham are comfortably safe. I wouldn't be concerned at all, to be honest with you.
So I now say the same question about Forest because they're dropping quick and don't have a good goal differential. It's better than the 3 teams in the drop currently, but Luton is at least playing with a little hustle. Bournemouth seemingly has gotten their shit together, and Everton ain't staying where they are for long. Everton's going to get right back up to freaking 11th or 10th place by the end of the year because despite the point total, they're not a bad team.
No.
Forest has got to be careful. They could really be in now.
Which I think is part of the issue this season where we're seeing these comments from the chairman with them and everything else. I think he may actually pull the trigger in the next couple of weeks.
And the amount of money that they've spent last season, it can't afford to go down, man. They really can't. Now, moving on, gutsy fucking win for the Seagulls there. Really gutsy win. And obviously, big shout out to, what is he, 17 or 18 years old? Henselwood, the kid who got the winner.
Oh, yeah. His first goal.
His first professional goal is a game winner. Pretty fucking great.
Yeah, not bad at all. Now, you wouldn't have known that at the time in the 52nd minute. But really, Brighton were all over Brentford here, to be honest with you. Despite the penalty call, Brighton had a majority of the possession. Brighton had a majority of the chances. Brentford only managed 2 shots on goal, one of which was the penalty.
Yeah.
So obviously losing Emblemo is a huge miss injury-wise. I mean, that kind of changed
exactly what I was about to mention.
Even though Wisa came in and Wisa, obviously the two of them work very well together. One without the other isn't particularly threatening necessarily. I would say Emblemo was better than Wisa. And when they lost Emblemo, you could see that game kind of change a bit and a little bit of impetus fell out of Brentford. But Brighton sees that and keep going. Now, Brentford did have a few chances, one of which was also cleared off the line. Later on, just before the Brighton winner. But it was a good game. I thought it was fun to watch, and Brighton are always exciting. Pascal Gross, what an excellent shot that was to equalize. I mean, Matoma gets the ball, tees him up, and then just the left-footed. I mean, he put, again, just the precision on the shot. It was the only place the goalkeeper couldn't get to it. It was fantastic.
Question for you. You mentioned Wisa. I don't think Wisa should have been on the pitch.
I think he should have got sent off.
Put hands to a guy's face, man. That should have been a fucking red. There was a few things VAR had gotten right this weekend.
Hey, listen. He celebrates like this, Sam. It's okay.
Fucking hands in his literally.
He didn't mean it.
Like, gave him a fucking push in the face. I'm like, okay.
He didn't mean it. Johan Wisa is Zen. Okay.
What's again so fucking annoying about this is that you had like that headbutt from Vinicius in the Wolves Fulham match, that because Kilnsman didn't go down to the ground, there was no red card. It's like, so unless these people over embellish it, fall to the ground, roll around and kick their legs like a baby, we're not going to acknowledge that that these are, quote, if there are hands to the face, any physical abuse to the face, it's a fucking red. And then and
it should be violent conduct.
Yeah. 2 instances in the last month where that has happened, and because the other person didn't roll around on the ground like a baby or pull a Neymar, as I like to call it, they didn't get a fucking red card. Like, league, you're encouraging bad behavior.
Yeah.
Like, this is what you like when people start to do the over embellishing shit. It's because you don't give out cards when you should be, frankly. Now,
yeah, absolutely.
Same question. Brighton, we feel like Brighton's in and around the hunt for something in Europe, but you can also kind of tell the workload is getting to them as well, right? How would you feel about that, Sam?
I would be more concerned if somebody like Jack Hinselwood didn't step up and score the winner in this game. Brighton just continually fucking finds somebody to fill a void.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it, but they fucking do it.
Yeah.
So I would be more concerned about Brentford, who were pushing for a European place and just missed out. I would be more concerned for them falling out of that situation than it would be for Brighton not getting at least a McRib place.
Yeah. Brentford, you feel like they're probably safe, but they're not too. And earlier in the season, like when they lost to Everton, they found themselves not too far away from that. And you have a couple, 2-3 bad losses in a row, especially if you don't have somebody like Mbeumo out there getting it done for you. Like, you got to feel like there could be some real problems here for Brentford.
Now, one thing that does kind of annoy me, obviously, because of the links with Arsenal in January, one thing that makes me a little concerned is if Brentford were 2 or 3 places higher in the league, I think Arsenal have a better chance of signing Ivan Toney, who they really want to lead the line. But now I think Brentford may hold out until at least the summer because they're going to need him to climb the table again.
Yeah, precisely. I was actually going to mention the exact same thing. It feels that way too.
But I think Brentford will be safe. I just don't think they'll finish as high as they were because Ivan Toney's coming back. I think that is a massive boost for them, and I really think he's going to hit the ground running. I think he's a guy that wants to be involved in the Euros. I think he offers probably the most similar situation to Harry Kane that's out there. In terms of the other forwards, Ollie Watkins, Callum Wilson, a lot of these guys, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, even to an extent, play very differently to how Harry Kane plays.
Yeah,
Ivan Toney does drop off. He does bring others into play. He does a lot of the similar things to what Harry Kane does. And if that's the way that Gareth Southgate wants to play, then you would assume that he's in contention as long as he's in form.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to want, no matter where he is, whether it's at Brentford or with Arsenal, he's going to want to hit the ground running as soon as he's back fit and available in January and just hit the ground running so he can be involved in the Euros in the summer.
Agreed. Now, I guess what I was getting to here, and this will be the final thought, is just all four of these teams certainly overperformed what we thought their index was last year. Now, I think all of them ultimately are safe, and I think they're all teams we're going to see in the Prem next year. But I think what we are starting to see with all four of these clubs is kind of more of a recession back to what their real norm is. I think that's what we're now seeing out of them.
Yeah, that's fair.
Rounding out the rest of the league, and so that happened. Wolverhampton 1, Burnley 0, Manchester United 2, Chelsea 1, Liverpool 2, Sheffield 0, Bournemouth 2, Palace 0, West Ham 2, Tottenham 1, Everton 3, Newcastle 0. Claret stumble after a big win. If we're gonna talk about Oso, this is the most Oso games of Oso games that could ever happen. Wolves go get a boring win, but it's their offense is starting to click. They're not a high-powered offense; they're an opportune offense, and they
absolutely.
Goals.
That Korean guy got it done.
Mm-hmm. Well, in his work rate, and you think about it there for a while with Lopetegui, he was kind of out of favor, right? Between him and Cunha, those guys work their tails off.
Absolutely.
And they do it at the other end of the pitch, too. They get back.
Well, what's also great is despite that work, despite moving at 100 miles an hour all the time, he finds the wherewithal and the composure to sidestep a defender, send him bye-bye birdie, flying right past him, and then pick out on a slow roller to that far corner, kind of Cole Palmer-esque, in a very disrespectful manner, to just roll the ball into the far corner where the goalkeeper can't get to it. Yep. It's absolutely brilliant. I loved everything about that. But, we said this on Monday. I think Burnley shot their load scoring 5. They probably should have held 2 back for today.
Yeah, that would have helped them today. Absolutely. Do not disagree one bit.
Also, worth mentioning, Dan Bentley, I believe that is his first Premier League clean sheet.
Oh, there we go. Good on him.
So good for him. Yeah, as the backup to Jose Sa, and looks likely to be starting for Wolves for the foreseeable future.
Well, and also depending on if Sa is healthy when he comes back in the January transfer window, does he suddenly become a
Manchester United player?
Well, no, a Saudi guy, because especially for Wolves, that's one way to really straighten up the books real quick. Sell a keeper for 20 million that you probably wouldn't have sold for that much.
I mean, they could just join the class action suit against Everton and probably balance their books. All of those clubs own a piece of the new stadium.
Yeah,
you got to pay them rent.
Yeah, exactly. I got to tell you, comprehensive fucking win for United. They actually looked good. The
McTerminator is back.
They looked better in this match than they did in the 3-0 win over Everton and all those 1-0, 2-1 boring ass games they've had so far. They actually looked good and impressive and attacking in this match.
Yeah, so I'm going to throw a stat out there real quick. And I don't know that it's true. I don't think it's true, but I'm going to throw it out like it is true. Scott McTominay, a.k.a. the McTerminator, had 7 shots by himself, 5 of which were on target, which, besides the Everton game, if you separate out the Everton game, that's more than United's last 3 games combined.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, I have no basis for that.
They had damn near close to 30 attempts at goal. Now, not all on target, of course, but they haven't done that in forever. Most of their matches have been 2 shots on goal, 10 total, just kind of meh, really just meh performances. And this was, now, I think what we've really learned about Chelsea is that there is going to be no consistency in Chelsea. They are so fucking young, and you have to give Pochettino time with this fucking team.
Yeah, I mean, they're so young and they're so. I mean, and they bought how many players over the last 18 months?
Yeah,
that's really the biggest problem is he's got 30 players in his first team squad. Right now, Pochettino has kind of dumbed it down to about 15 that he uses on a regular basis. But as you say, they are still very young, minus Thiago Silva. They've had their captain sent off. Their captain sent off in the last 2 matches. So they had, they were missing. No, Reece James, I'm sorry, was available for this match finally. But Conor Gallagher was not, which is why Cole Palmer started. It's just, they've got growing pains. They're starting to get better. They're starting to look more cohesive. But I think United got very lucky and caught them at the right time.
Yeah, I would agree. And also, I do wonder if this was at the Bridge, might the result have been different?
Yeah.
I still wonder that too. Reds move into second place.
Another
playing them in just a couple of weeks, aren't you?
Yeah, we are. But this is another very Oso. No one gave a fuck about that game.
I'll tell you what, does Chris Wilder have a little bit of an argument to say that they were kind of hard done by calls? Because I don't know, if you look at how open Van Dijk was and you see the Sheffield United player laying face first on the ground in front of him, you gotta wonder how that came about.
Well, there's nothing to see here, you looky-loos.
Sure thing, Officer Barbrady.
just move along. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm sure there was definitely something in it, more than likely. Kelleher, was absolutely fantastic with a couple of chances that Sheffield United did create themselves. I thought he was phenomenal. I don't know that I'd go as far to say he is the best backup goalkeeper in the world, like Jurgen Klopp said, which is quite funny. He is very good. I'm also surprised that the Konate stiff arm on Archer didn't garner a penalty for Sheffield United.
Absolutely.
But that being said, for the 14 or so minutes that Chris Wilder has been in charge again, Sheffield United did look a hell of a lot more organized and a lot better than at any moment under Heckenbottom.
That's exactly what I was about to say. It was like, I mean, they're still not a very good team, but at least they look like they fucking cared.
Yeah. Exactly.
That match against Burnley, I mean, they just looked like they could give a fuck less in that match.
100%. Yeah, they just gave up. I mean, completely gave up.
Something in this match for them, at least, And the Cherries, look at them now on a little bit of a roll there, kid. What is it? 3 wins and 2 draws? Like suddenly starting to click for them.
I know Gary O'Neill did a fantastic. Oh wait, he's not there anymore. Duh. Sorry. Pretty sure that was the form that saved his job and the club last season.
Yeah, exactly.
No, they were they were good value for money. I mean, Palace don't concede many goals from set pieces.
No, they do not.
The fact that they scored so easily from a corner was not something you see very often. Especially at home as well. I mean, the Palace supporters were actually quite frustrated. Booed them off at halftime and then booed them again at the final whistle, those that were still there.
Yeah, I'm wondering if maybe it's time for them to shift up the back a little bit. Like, I like Tyreek Mitchell as a player, but maybe bring Ward back in. I know he's an old man, but there might be a little bit more tenacity. Do you bring in Richards maybe for either Joachim Anderson, or I would say Mark Bowie you keep out there because he's really a hell of a defender, but you got to feel like there's got to be some moves and
there's got to be some sort of shakeup. Yeah.
And Corey from last season that did so well for him, he hasn't been really playing a ton in the midfield. Like I guess that Roy the Boy's just not a particular fan of his, but they looked really solid in the middle of the pitch last season. So it feels a little off, like something's just not working there right now. And you keep fucking off, man. You're going to be right in that thick of it because, there's, again, Everton ain't staying where they're staying for long. They're, unless the league decides, like you said on Monday, decides, fuck you, we're giving you another 10-point deduction because you got out of that fucking too quickly, Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I mean, I kind of, if this goes past Christmas, this kind of form chart for Crystal Palace, I'd start to worry about Roy's job a little bit. But I mean, for now, I think he's safe. I think you're right. They do need to shake up. I do think they have a few injuries, of course, with Eze and
it's an Eze is everything.
there's a little bit of a reason there that maybe they're not performing up to snuff necessarily. But that being said, they're not getting results at a crucial point in the season against a team you would probably argue that they need to be getting a result against.
In your building,
And
you should have won this one. You should have won this one.
and that's not a and that's just simply not a good thing.
No.
So I don't know. We'll see. The team I'm most unsure about what they're going to do and which direction they're going to go because they're so heavily reliant on Eberechi Eze is Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
I mean, this could be the start of a crucial slide down the table. This could be the wake up call they needed to move up 3 places. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I very much agree. Let's see. It doesn't get any easier for them. They got Liverpool next, and I think they got Liverpool City back to back. Like,
I mean, the least they could do is drop kick a couple people in the chest and put them out for a month. So when we play them, they're weaker.
Heard. Very good. Now,
let's help out London. Come on,
West Ham and Tottenham. This was absolutely a tale of two halves because Tottenham looked really good in the first half.
Tottenham should have been up 4-0. Tottenham should have been up 4-0.
It just this inability to take advantage of a situation that Tottenham is doing, and they're doing this constantly. And then you feel like sometimes, I know Ange wants to run this system of full press, the high line and everything. You give up that first goal and it's just like, just adjust it a little. Can you just adjust a little? You don't have to completely walk away from what you're doing, but you have to recognize they got you on the counter and then they got you on the counter again. It's like, fuck, man. Can't you see you need to change the system just a little from time to time?
Well, the other thing too is teams that are used to having possession, right? Like Arsenal, like City, like those kinds of teams. Yes, their counterattack can be devastating, but how often do we actually sit here and talk about, 6 touches down the field in a total of 18 seconds for those two clubs and the ball's in the back of the net? Not that often, to be honest with you.
No.
Not that often. We're talking about a sustained amount of possession that ends up translating into a goal, a forced mistake or what have you, a penalty, whatever it is. We're not necessarily talking about a transitional score with some of those teams. A team like West Ham, especially over the last, decade, has been their entire identity to fucking counterattack.
Yeah.
So if this is what they're used to, the only goals they score are counterattacking goals, are quick transitions. And if you're playing that, it's shown time and time again, if you give them the ball, they don't know what to do.
Right.
So you have to adjust your situation. You have to adjust your tactics. And Ange just doesn't seem to want to do that.
And
which is fine. Go for it. I mean, if you keep dropping points like this, I'm a happy guy. I'm just saying, you should probably take a look in the mirror real quick and say, this is a little bit my fault.
Not for nothing, Graham. Like how you just mentioned how West Ham likes to play a counterattacking style. Let's double down on that. David Moyes has been coaching in this league for damn near close to 20 fucking years. Are we not aware of the style that David Moyes likes to coach? Do we not? I mean, can you not comprehend that Moyes likes to get behind the ball? He likes to play you very tough, very physical, and he likes to break on your mistakes. And he likes to make you have to overwork. It's what he's done forever. It's what he did at Everton. It's what he did at Sunderland. It's what he did at Man U. Not very well, but he did it there. And it's what he's doing at fucking West Ham. Like,
yeah.
How can you not be surprised by the style of play he's going to play?
Hold on, Sam. He did it the first time at West Ham. Then he did it in Spain when he was called David, and then they sent him home. And then he did it again at West Ham, which is where we are now. I have no idea. I mean, unless he's playing, fucking some Eastern European second division team in the McRib Cup, West Ham are not good at having possession. So give them the fucking ball, and you've got Kulusevski and Son. You should be able to fucking counterattack.
How do you think Everton beat West Ham? They made West Ham play with the ball.
Exactly. 100%.
Be like, here,
100%.
I dare you, West Ham, do something with it, all right?
But you know what? For fear of actually, you know what? I don't have fear of repetition. I don't give a shit. I said it last week with Ollie McBurney, and I'll say it again because Big Ange coached in Scotland for a bit. He must have picked up the old Glaswegian saying, "Never back down, double down."
Heard. And Mr. Graham, just like that, within 3 matches, Everton are already out of the drop.
And they've almost taken all the points back. Almost. 60% of the points that they stole from you, you've taken back now.
Already taken back. Now, let's be very clear about it. Newcastle are so fucking thin right now.
Well, they looked gassed. They looked absolutely shattered by about halftime.
Yeah. And Howe made some adjustments with them and got them kind of moving in the right direction in the second half. And then the minute that Trippier made that mistake and McNeil stole the ball off his foot and just ripped one, you could just see Newcastle, just the shoulders dropped, and they were like, all right, fuck it. On to the next match. We got to worry about Milan in a week and a half. Let's just not fuck. We're done.
The other piece of that too is Kieran Trippier has been probably their steadiest player over the last season and a half.
And
if he's the one that
goal number 1 and goal number 2. Yeah.
If he's making mistakes like that, what are the rest of us supposed to do? You know what I mean? That, besides Nick Pope, who was not playing obviously because of his injury. And from what I understand, he may be out for about 4 months.
And the good news is you have Dubravka. Like, Dubravka is a very good backup. So they've got someone who can get it done for him. But then Lascelles goes out at the end of the game with a fucking grabbing his hamstring. And you're like, Alan and I were joking about it. We were chatting back and forth. And it was just like, what is the way you get a break on this team, getting hurt? Like, that's like, hey coach, I just want to get 1 game on the bench. I just want to get a little bit of a break. Let me go ahead and pull a hammy real quick. Like,
right.
It's absolutely. Beto scoring was big for Everton. Him finally getting
goal difference. It was the same thing I was worried about with Burnley the other week, at the weekend rather. That I said on Monday, those 5 goals could come back to bite you in the ass in 3 months. Well, you just got 3 of them back.
Yeah, we're on a -3.
Well, I'm sorry.
11th place is on -12. We are the differential in the bottom half of the table.
Burnley lost 1-0, so you got 4 goals back today.
Yeah,
out of those 5. So that's not a concern anymore. That's fine. What you worried about there?
If you look at that whole bottom of the table, I'm saying like
you're on a -2,
and -12 is the next best one. That's the next best one to us. Like, so,
and you'll start hearing us say this, closer around March usually, but that's an extra point. That goal differential at the bottom half of the table is an extra point, essentially.
So the Everton fans, gotta love them. Yes, they booed the anthem, the Premier League theme song again, and then at the 10th minute for an entire straight minute booed. Apparently, we're doing prop changes. So the game against United, which is a pink sign with the lion that said corrupt. This one's a green sign that says protecting the few, not the many. And that's what they were holding up at this one. So,
yep.
We talked about this already a couple times. You done pissed off the wrong fan base.
Yeah.
You want to piss off don't piss off the Evertonians, man. Obviously there's still matches to be played, but the one thing I think you can see in this side, unlike the last 2 years of Everton, this team's decent. Like, this team isn't a world beater, but this team is not bad. This is a decent.
It's the same personnel largely because you haven't been able to buy any because of how you cheated earlier.
Yeah.
So it's what it is you have a proper fucking manager. You have somebody that's going to put a plan together and pull you guys together and give you the mindset of it's us against the world. We've said it time and time again, talking about Dyche and the Dyche effect. And how this season was going to be different from last season because last season was a he got hired and it was a struggle. Let's get together. He came in mid-season. It was difficult. And Frank just had no plan. What Frank was doing was fucking dog shit. So the whole idea was get somebody in that knows what's up, that knows how to do this, that knows how to scrap. And they absolutely hired the right guy. I mean, Sean, name. Sean Dyche is the new wave Sam Allardyce. This is what he does.
Just he eats earthworms instead of having pint glasses of red wine.
Pints of wine, right. He is the epitome of a firefighter, and it's no doubt in my mind why you guys have excelled in this shit situation.
Graham, if it wasn't for those 10 points taken off, you know what place Everton would be in right now?
10th. I looked. 10th.
Fucking 10th.
Your money.
I don't know if you can hear that exhale, but it's not so sure these days. I'm now down $47 because Liverpool couldn't fucking score goals against Sheffield United.
Yep.
Big surprise, the new manager bounce stopped me from getting done what I needed to get done. It was very annoying. So how did you fare, my good sir?
Well, I should have had more faith in Villa's ability to fuck. But I'm still up $261.
Big Sam's Lock of the Week.
And I'm up more than you, Mr. Graham. Did you know that 28.5714.29? I added a point. 29% of the time. It works 100% of the time, baby. I should have just kept rolling with it, adding points to it. You guys be like, is he adding extra decimals?
0.76, 0.721, 0.934.
Be like Animal House. The Germans, don't stop him. He's on a roll. All right. So I am going to do a 2-game parlay. I am taking a draw between Spurs and Newcastle and under 2.5 goals. This game to me has 1-1 or 0-0 written all over it because who the fuck's going to score for either team? And if I hit that, I get plus $428.
Nice. That's good. That's a good return there.
Yeah, it is.
Too bad you won't hit it.
And now it's time for our degenerate gambling friend Pat's Pick of the Week.
Subject line. Sorry for a short email. I'll keep this short.
The subject line kind of tells us what it's already doing there, Pat.
Got it, Pat. Yep. Got it.
On it.
It was not a good week. It was
no, it's not a good week for him.
It was not a good week. 0 for 4 on my bets, so I'm now down minus 1250. Jesus Christ.
He is pulling what we like to call a Graham.
Yeah, no shit. It's actually unbelievable, but I'm going to make one bet this weekend on one game. Not fun, but I need to stop the bleeding. So I'll take Wolverhampton over Forest. It's at minus 125, so I'll risk the 125 to win 100. I hope I hit. But at this point, who fucking knows? Have a great weekend. I'll be getting used to spending time with my family on Saturdays again.
Well, he does have Army Navy this Saturday to watch. Then he can go back and spending time with his family.
Yeah, exactly.
No, after that, the NFL starts playing on Saturdays. He's not going to spend time with his family.
No.
He's that sweet drug. Needs that sweet drug of gambling to get him by.
Exactly right.
All right, so what do you got for us, stud?
Like I said, I'm now down $47. That is my first time into the red this season. I am going to take a multitude of favorites.
Okay.
To try to pad myself some odds and get back well into the positive ahead of you. So I've got Liverpool to beat Palace, United to beat Bournemouth, Brighton to beat Burnley, Brentford to beat Sheffield United, and City to beat Luton. That gets me plus 600. I will probably also be taking a real money bet on this on my old FanDuel.
Ooh, I don't know. Brentford's going to Sheffield, the new manager bump in their building.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I've got a good one. So that's a 1, 2, 3, 4. That's only 5 games. So fuck off, Adam.
There you go. Well, the board's not next to me, so I can't be going in 9-way parlay. And we're not asking Mel to do it because she has enough going on over there with the whole COVID thing. So, but you know who never has to worry about the new manager bump? Kitty the fucking chicken.
By the way, if you guys wanted some more math, according to Villanisa and Nicole Thompson, Villa fucks 89.45% of the time.
Not a girl.
Well, Kitty Miss says Fulham destroyed Forest and sits at 8-5. So this weekend, I gave her Wolverhampton hosting Nottingham Forest. Sorry, breathing's hard.
That's okay.
Kitty informed me that she had lunch plans tomorrow with Mark Turner and Paula Page.
Yeah.
Now, as we know, Mark, producer Mel's future second ex-husband, is Forrest all day long. And Paul, well, he does love the Wolves, so it would appear Kitty is picking up another draw this weekend.
Very good. Very good. Now, I would just say, Cole, it would have been 89.6969696969% of the time. Villa fucks all the time.
No, that'd be too
And if you missed an opportunity to miss 6969 when talking about Villa, you're an idiot.
No, not all of us have to go for the easy stuff like you guys. But
Graham, don't talk about my future second ex-wife that way. Thank you very much.
Do you know?
I'll talk to my future third wife however I want to.
Do you want to know what isn't obvious?
What's that?
Y'all's ability to gamble legally and responsibly.
No, we can't do that.
I have tiny ears. I can't get this gas
All
over my
right.
ears.
Well, Mr. Graham, our
done.
first midweek in the books here,
Yes.
And you
okay.
did not keep it under an hour.
We tried. Now, Mr. Graham, do you have anything major for parting words? Because I'd like to steal it from you if you don't mind.
No, the only thing I was going to do is check out the closed group DUFC on Facebook, Drunkards United FC on Facebook, because we're going to put a GoFundMe out to help Mel get her ears enlarged. So just look for that GoFundMe and donate to the cause.
Ear implants?
Mr. Graham.
That's so dumb.
There is something we missed.
Uh-oh.
There's something very big that we missed.
Uh-oh.
Just call me Renton and call you Sick Boy, because we are heroin addicts from Train Spotting.
Yep.
Third round of the FA Cup. Just start smacking that vein right now. We have a fucking Tyne-Wear, baby!
Yes.
At Sunderland. Newcastle Sunderland at Sunderland. All of that just horse right there. Right
yes,
fucking
please.
there. Give me all of that.
And I do want to make mention quickly that I knew that, but pre-show meeting, you said we're not going to talk about the draw. We'll do that on the preview show. So I didn't mention it, but I did know that was happening.
Oh my God, put it in the veins.
I'm very excited. I can't wait. I cannot fucking wait.
I want the mark right there, not between my toes. I don't want to hide that mark. I'm proud of that mark right there, right in that fucking vein. We will discuss this obviously at another time because Mel's feeling the way she is, but we have been invited by the Mobtown Magpies to go at 7:45 in the morning and do a live show at the Abbey at Mount Washington.
All right.
I'm
for
down.
For the FA Cup game.
I'm down. I'm so down.
Totally in.
Oh, there we have it. So, other than that, next up is injury time. We're going to preview the weekend's action. And we're going to try to get it done quickly because my wife needs to get some fucking rest. You are, Mel, big shout out. You are a fucking trooper for getting through this tonight, girl.
Oh.
And Sam, should somebody want to find injury time, how they go about doing it?
It's www.worldhealthorganization.com and sign up to the free COVID Carla newsletter. And you'll be able to get in touch with Mel that way. But if you want to talk to Sam and I, it's at DU Football Show on all the social medias, at dufootballshow@gmail.com to get in touch via email, patreon.com to support the show and get all the extra shit. Just wanted to give one more plug to make sure people can talk to us because there's been a little bit of a lack of communication over the normal channels. A lot of stuff in the closed group as always, and we always appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. But send some fucking emails in. Send some questions. Talk to us on Instagram. Talk to us on Twitter. Let us know what's going on in your world.
Send us some messages on TikTok. We're doing the halftime check-ins and all that. Yeah, exactly.
I'll make sure Tegan. Yeah, I'll make sure Tegan checks it.
In fact, Everybody, quick reviews, 5 stars on iTunes, and in the comment section, leave. How's it going in your world? So we know that this is the show you listen to hear that.
100%. Let's see how many more plugs we can do to drag this out so Mel can't go to sleep.
One more plug. All your holiday shopping needs, the DU Drip Shack, baby. Get the
that's right.
DU gear.
Get the fly gear, baby.
Till Monday, everybody.
Good night.
I don't know how to end the stream, so we're just going to talk to people until I do.
Hi, stream. We're still on the stream.